Lord of the Rings is one of the most iconic film series in our time. If you've never seen it, you need to go watch it right now, but after this video. Here's the synopsis ripped right from the internet. The future of civilization rests on the fate of one ring, which has been lost for centuries. Powerful foes are unrelenting in their search for it, but fate has placed it in the hands of a young hobbit named Frodo Baggins, who inherits the ring and steps into legend. A daunting task lies ahead for Frodo when he becomes the ring bearer to destroy the One Ring in the fires of Mount Doom where it was forged. So if you've seen the movie, then you know the ring is a massive temptation for Frodo. Multiple times he gives in to its temptation, wearing the ring and using its power. Each time he does, though, it gets harder and harder for him to resist. I've heard it said that if you want to understand the kind of temptation Frodo endured, try strapping your smartphone around your neck and not checking it every time you get a notification. Smartphones and social media has done massively good things for us, but it's also presented us with tons of problems. So here, we're going to talk about one of them. Technology distracts us from the moment. A lot of ideas and information in this video come from one of my new favorite books, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. I'm going to be quoting that book several times throughout this video. So I'm going to throw some stats at you. Business Insider ran a study in 2017, and they found that the average iPhone user touches their phone 2,617 times a day. And every day they're on their phone for 2.5 hours over 76 sessions. Another study found that millennials were twice that, 5 hours a day. And most people have no idea how much time they spend on their phones. It turns out that just being in the same room as your phone, even if it's turned off, will reduce someone's working memory and problem-solving skills. In other words, they make us dumber. Microsoft found that 77% of young adults say, when nothing is occupying my attention, the first thing I do is reach for my phone. I can vouch for that. Our attention span is also dropping every year. In 2000, the average attention span was about 12 seconds. Now, it's 8 seconds. Put that in perspective, goldfish have an attention of 9 seconds. Yep, little bubbles can pay attention longer than you can. Now, the tech industry knows your attention is limited. They will do anything they can to get your attention, because if they have your attention, they have your money. So this is what is called the attention economy. So we have different forces fighting for our attention. All our apps are vying for your attention and your time. And so we live under the tyranny of the urgent, not the important. Likes in Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter retweets, TikTok, and even Angry Birds are calling our name. Any of these important enough to tear us from the people we're with or the beautiful moments we're in? What are your smartphone habits? If you have any kind of device that you carry with you, pay attention to the kinds of moments where you'd rather be looking at it instead of engaging with whatever or whoever is around you. So at the time I'm recording this, my daughter is 6 months old. My daughter Cora is 6 months old. She's always developing and learning and figuring out different things. It's amazing, but I hate to admit it, too often I'll be on my phone or reading about new tech or politics or something, and my wife will say, look, Cora's discovered her foot, or something like that. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to miss her first steps or her first words because I'm too distracted reading about batfishes or something. So we must ask this simple but important question. What is this doing to our souls? If we use our phones to escape, then I think it's time for an escape from our escape. So what do we do? Well, I think we need to get back our ability to be present. I'm going to quote John Mark Comer again. We need to get back our ability to be present to God, present to other people, present to all that is good, beautiful, and true in our world, even present to our own souls. People, let's not get so distracted that we forget we have souls. How can we course correct our hearts and minds so we can spiritually thrive even in the middle of this chaos? If anybody can help us do that, it's Jesus. And from Jesus, we learn about 2 helpful practices, solitude and silence. So let's start with solitude. If you read through the Gospels of Mark and Luke, you'll notice a trend. Jesus liked to get away and be alone. Mark 5:16 says, "But Jesus often withdrew to the wilderness for prayer." And check out Mark 1:35-38. After a long day of casting out demons and healing, it says this, "Very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. Simon and his companions went to look for him, and when they found him, they exclaimed, 'Everyone's looking for you!' Jesus replied, 'Let's go somewhere else, like to the nearby villages, so I can preach there also. That is why I have come.'" I love this. It's just Jesus is basically like, "Nah, let's get out of here and go somewhere else. There's lots of work to be done." John Mark Comer says it this way. Notice Jesus came out of the wilderness with all sorts of clarity about his identity and calling. He was grounded, centered, in touch with God and himself. From that place of emotional equilibrium and spiritual substance, he knew precisely what to say yes to, and just as importantly, what to say no to. For Jesus to achieve this and recharge his batteries, he didn't say, "Let's escape to a spa," or "go see a movie," or "binge Netflix." He understood being alone with God is what he needed, not hours of self-indulgence. And this is the pattern that he taught his disciples. Now, solitude isn't loneliness. Richard Foster said, "Loneliness is inner emptiness. Solitude is inner fulfillment." So we're not alone in solitude. We're with God. And this is when most people, myself included, feel the most connection with God. If we feel distant from God, it's not because of his absence, it's because of ours. So the idea of solitude is simple. Create an environment where you can give your attention to God and connect with him. If it's a warm day, maybe you can go find a place in your yard or open a window by a tree or something. Or maybe you like a dimly lit room where there's nothing but a lamp or a candle or something. Do whatever you want. The idea is that you're alone and free from distraction. Which leads me to the second point, silence. Now there are two kinds of silence, external silence and internal silence. So external silence is easy, like there's no noise, no music, no TV, no phone, no kids running around. All you hear is the rustling of the wind through the trees and the ringing in your ear from the silence. If it's hard for you, try doing it before going to bed or waking up just a bit early. This is one of your goals when you're trying to find a place for solitude. Can I get as close to total silence here? St. Augustine said, "Entering silence is entering joy." A Syrian monk named John Climacus said, "A friend of silence draws near to God." So I'm inviting you. No. Jesus is inviting you into the joy of silence and to be near him. The other kind of silence is inner silence. I'll just let John Mark Comer say it. Could it be that we're using external noise to drown out internal noise? Here's what I mean by internal noise. The mental chatter that just never shuts up. The running commentary in our heads on everything. The replaying of a lousy conversation with a friend over and over again. Our lustful thoughts for the guy or girl down the street. Our fantasies, not just sexual, our revenge fantasies. Imagining saying, doing this or that to our enemies of choice. Our worry, our chipping away at our joy and peace with the hammer of what if. The obsessing over hypothetical scenarios, role-playing the future, catastrophizing, idealizing, dreaming of the perfect life, which in turn poisons our actual lives. So this is really hard to silence. External noise, easy. Turn off your phone, throw it out the window, get outside. But internal noise takes work. Let me give you a helpful meditation that I often do to shut up my inner voice. It's super simple. You're going to take notice and savor everything each of your five senses are experiencing, starting with touch. Sit in a comfortable position with your eyes closed. Now, mentally scan your entire body from your head to your toe, or from your toe to your head. So make note of every sensation that you feel in different parts of your body. So like the pressure of your shoes or the floor under your feet, the warmth of your socks, or the feeling of your pants against your legs, or the pressure and warmth of the seat under your butt, the feeling of air passing through your nose and your chest, rising and falling with each breath. The breeze across your face, blowing your hair, not mine, yours. You'll probably notice some discomfort as you do this, so try not to adjust yourself. You'll probably never stop. So it takes practice, so stay still and keep the silence. Then move to your sense of taste. So what do you taste in your mouth? Leftovers from breakfast, or toothpaste, water, coffee, just name them. Next, what do you smell? A freshly mowed lawn? A litter box? Yourself? Nothing at all? Whatever it is, savor it. Or at least investigate it. Now, what sounds do you notice? The sounds of your house or apartment, the sounds of birds outside, cars driving by, or family members talking or going about their business, your ears ringing from the silence. Name each and every sound you can. And I like to have a little fun with this, imagining where things are coming from, like which direction, which tree, where along the road, whatever. So enjoy the symphony of sounds around you. Then open your eyes. Notice the colors around you. Which colors catch your eye the most? And why does it catch your eye? Can you see the source of the sounds you heard? What beauty do you see? Savor all the sights you can see just from where you sit. So this is one reason I love to do this when outside. Now, see if you can take all these things that you felt and noticed through all your senses and put them together. And how do you feel emotionally? Is it easier to just be present in the moment with inner silence? That's my favorite meditation, to bring me into that moment. Now, you can do this whenever. You don't have to be sitting. You can do a quick version of it as you go about your day and your business. One of the reasons I love this one is because your five senses can only experience the present moment. Like, you can't smell the future or feel the past, except in your own head. If you focus on what your senses are taking in right now, you'll be in the moment right now. Enjoy the gifts that God has put around you using your five senses. Now, whenever you're tempted to use your phone or whatever, when your mind isn't occupied, you can do this exercise. Another thing you can do in those moments is to try to find something you haven't noticed before. Like, if you're at the store waiting in line, check out the building around you or people and see if you notice something new, or just people watch. Hey, maybe you can even ask a stranger a question. No. So one of my phone habits is that I turn it off all day on Fridays. This last Friday, my wife, Katie, needed a nap, and our daughter just wasn't falling asleep. So I volunteered to take Cora for a stroll outside till she conked out. But I usually go on walks or runs with my phone, like listening to a podcast. So my first thought was, wait, does this mean I have to turn my phone on so I can go take this walk? How the heck am I going to do this without a podcast in my ears? Then, in a moment of clarity, I thought, dude, let nature be your daggone podcast. There's so much that's interesting happening out there. Let God teach you now. So that's what I did. I got to prayerfully air out my feelings and thoughts that I didn't realize until then that I'd been bottling up. It was so healing for my soul. So the next time you usually take out your phone to distract you or entertain you, try leaving it home. Seriously, you might find that you have a lot of negative thoughts and feelings bubble up, and that's okay. It happens to me too. But hey, at least you're feeling again.